What is up everyone, it's TK and welcome back to another video. Now today we're going to talk about Max's army in the World Championship. He made this Root Rider army not exactly the same, but still, the main important thing is about the equipment. So he's now running the Eternal Tome. This might be because he thinks it's better, or it's because maybe he wants to get used to this type of equipment because of the Eternal Tome getting a nerf. So let's dive in and see how this works. So firstly, we have this base right here. We got obviously two of these fire spitters with poison towers. We're looking outwards. And one thing I want to tell you to do on these bases is don't be afraid to dive into two fire spitters. Usually they're baited from the behind because of course people tend to like to have RC walk onto one of them and then start their Root Rider on the other one, which in High Legends that's most likely going to be baited. So what I do always is to think outside the box. Don't worry about diving into two of them. So we're going to have the Royal Champion walk a bit on this side. Now I wanted to make sure the RC goes to the top side. Of course, as you can see, the Scatter and the Multi-Inferno, just to get a bit of the funnel. Now whenever like bases you see that are quite like this, make sure you have a log launcher selected. Obviously in this army you have the log launcher, and yes, you saw me going with like spells here and there because I thought if the RC goes down, I should recall her quickly. But now we have the Ice Golem, we have the Log Launcher and the Queen Giant Arrow to damage the Multi-Inferno, damage the Geared Up Tower and move into the base. Now look at this. We're not going to wait too much on the Queen because she will get the value. We're going to start with the Root Riders, Loons, Healers, and then lastly the Warden because we're close by an air defense and the air defense could actually target the Sneezy. So one thing in this army that is very good is the double overgrowth. Always overgrowth the town hall first so you can go around it. Now what we're gonna do is to overgrowth the other fire spitter meanwhile going into the other one. So now we only have, of course, all the army hopefully diving into the same area. Of course, because this expo stayed up because of that RC charge, it was a bit weird for the RC to go back, but it is what it is. Now, here's where you can kind of go back up with the HP of the Root Riders, Royal Champion, and your healers with the Healing Tome. So, one other thing I would definitely suggest you is to keep one invisibility spell. Now you saw from the beginning of this attack, I actually invested an invis for no reason because we recalled the RC quickly because of the town hall shots. So one thing that is super important is to keep one spell in case your Royal Champion is under heavy damage and you popping her ability, she's still going to be under the damage. You don't have the Eternal Tome. So the only problem is that make sure the RC stays alive. She can get so much value for you, and this is how we easily crush this base with 4 heroes alive. Now on this attack, I actually want to show you a few really important tips. It's gonna be game changing and it's gonna be super helpful, but they are very small and no other like YouTuber or creator is telling you this type of little detail, and I want to be able to give that to you so you can see the information. Now we're going to have an RC walk around the town hall whenever you see a box base. Go with the surrounding of the town hall. Get one box. You don't have to get too much value. But if you can, and if you can get away from the town hall, you can get it. Now look at this next RC like dive, an invis drop. We're going to invis the wizard tower so the RC moves forward to the scatter shot. This way we have extra invises to also get the scatter. I know I said keep one invis, but if you can't get major defenses, don't worry about it. Now look at this. We're going to dive into the base with the Ice Golem, Root Rider, Valkyrie, Warden, everything down the middle. Of course, this is the other part. You want to have the Queen separate the King from the army, Ice Golem to just tank slightly, and don't forget the overgrowth. Here, we're going to overgrowth the Town Hall and the top fire spitters. This makes sure we're going to go around that fire spitter, and by the time we are behind it, the overgrowth will be off, so the other fire spitter will be on and shooting us. So now you have to overgrowth the other fire spitter. So this overgrowth placement is going to be a lot of like importance in any of these attacks. Now, of course, this is like High Legends. Everyone have the furnaces in their CC, so you want to have an early poison. Whenever the overgrowth goes off the first one, you usually want to pop the Warden ability to catch everything. And look at this. A few barbarians will always take down the town hall. Now, my other key important thing, look at the top bomb towers. What we're gonna do to get them is really cool and important. Obviously, we're gonna have a barbarian and an archer to try to get the bomb tower. Now, the other bomb tower, you're gonna see what I do. I drop a barbarian, but at the same time, I drop a wall breaker, because the wall breaker damage will actually help your super barbarian to take down that bomb tower just in time. So imagine if that was the end zone, if that was the end of the attack. You had a few things going through a bomb tower and then they would have died. That little detail with a barbarian or an archer or a wall breaker combination together, they can really give you a whole entire building that can really help out through the back end of the base. Simple as that. We crush this base. Let's move on. So on the next attack, I want to show you another kind of box base, but one thing I told you to do was to go through the sides of the town hall, so you can actually dive into the town hall with this army. Usually with my other strategy that I currently use, and it's actually a crispy strategy, that was with 2 witches, and what I like to do is to go opposite side every time in any like legends hit. So yeah, that's just me. Now we're gonna get some value, and I think on this attack I actually don't use the last invis spell and I recall the RC because there is nothing else to get, which is very good. So now with the giant arrow, we're gonna funnel things through. We're gonna have ice golem on the left side because there's an enemy queen and some damage. Now with the root riders, loons, and of course the healers, we're gonna have like everything down the middle. Another ice golem because we didn't need it in front of the root riders. Here is where whenever you're going through a giga bomb or a lot of heavy damage, heal early. This healing tome will keep your warden ability for later on. In case you have like the regular, eternal tome or the healing tome, whichever you have, this will keep it further into the base. Now, as you saw, we're going to overgrowth the town hall, and the next overgrowth is usually going to be for either the core or the top side or the left side fire spitter. On this case, I wanted to overgrowth the core-ish, so we come back to the town hall and move to the other fire spitter. Otherwise, we would be so far ahead. I know it wouldn't matter too much. Still, it's still a crushing attack. And the next thing that is important is whenever you're overgrowthing and your king is next to it, wait for the ability, and once the overgrowth starts to go off, you pop the ball, and that spiky ball will help out massively for those back-end defenses, so you don't have to even stay around it and absolutely crush it. You can see how much troops we have. We are not using the Eternal Tome. After the update, it will get a nerf, so in case you want to be able to kind of catch up with the strategies, try and practice this one. It will work really well after the update. Next up, we have this base from Crispy, originally from back in the other season that he finished rank 4. Now, of course, this base, it's a lot of people's nightmare. I don't know why and how people still cannot triple this. Like around mid legends, in high legends, it's just so obvious what to do. But I want to show you how to get it. Now, whichever Root Rider army I use, I always try this exact method. I go from this side and I try to get one of the ricochet cannons and recall the RC. Nothing too crazy. Next up, we're gonna have the activation of the invisibility tower with the giant arrow and a little funnel. Ice Golem with the Root Riders, Warden, and everything again down the middle. One thing you need to make sure you are remembering is the king on this side, Wallbreaker, and some barbarians. To funnel the king, he needs to get that air defense and the wizard tower, so your Root Riders go into the base. Now, of course, whenever you have a core heavy rage tower, you need to overgrowth at least a slight bit of it, like a half of it or something, especially if you don't have the Eternal Tome. So overgrowth it, and then also pop the Eternal Tome or the healing spell, whichever you can see it's more worth it. We did both of them here because we want to get through a lot of damage. Now next up, depending on your army movement, sometimes they go split, sometimes they don't. You can overgrowth the other side so you can bring back the troops to the town hall, just like I did right here. You can see, like, guys, look at our heroes. Nothing damages them. The king is full, the queen is full, RC and warden is full. This is already a triple. From 50% of the base, you will know it's a triple. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how people still are failing this type of bases. It's so easy to triple it. And hopefully you understood what to do now and what are the key things to get. And look at the spiky ball, man. The overgrowth doesn't even have a chance to shoot back once it's done. Absolutely crushing attack, and hopefully you learn the way to hit this base with whichever Root Rider army you have. It will work, trust me. Fifth and final attack, I want to show you a diamond base. Now, usually you can go opposite side of these bases, but you know, I just sometimes don't care about risking, so I just don't do it. Or sometimes I do, it doesn't matter. You can have multiple ways of attacking a base in Legends right now with multiple RC charges. So we're gonna have a little RC walk around the town hall. Of course, she chose to go on the lower side. It is what it is. We're just gonna kind of adapt, okay? It doesn't matter too much. Once we get this entire side, it's gonna be such a nice funnel for the troops to dive into the town hall straight up. So going to recall the RC very soon. I was just waiting a slight bit so we can get maybe the scatter and also that sweeper. It would be such a good funnel. Now we're gonna have Ice Golem to kind of tank for the multi-archer tower. Of course, we have Root Riders, Warden, everything again down the middle. Keep your king further away from the army with an Ice Golem, going with the RC Headhunter, and we're gonna go with a healing spell right around the town hall because there's also a Giga Bomb. I didn't need to overgrowth the town hall in this attack because we're just so close to it, and I'll overgrowth the core and surrounding of the core poison for that furnace, and you can see how things are moving smoothly. Nothing is damaging our troops, so you don't need the Warden ability just yet. Once you can see, sometimes your troops go separated, sometimes you need to pop it because of a poison tower, or your healers are low, which in this case the healers are completely different, like they're healing the Valkyries and everything else is on the left. Kind of crazy. But now again, we're gonna overgrowth a back end of the base to make sure we lure the troops inside the core and whatever we left behind from the first overgrowth. This is an important thing. This back end will always go down with a simple RC like, you know, spare or a spiky ball or a few barbarians and a free spell. You can see, like, if you have a free spell, obviously, you can choose to, you know, if you're hitting a war or CW, you might not need a poison. You can take Titan. You can have obviously different varieties, but look at the troops and the heroes. Without a Warden Eternal Tome, this army is really crushing. But in general, I wouldn't really completely switch to this army just because it might not be the safest way to hit a base because you don't have the, you know, kind of Eternal Tome. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down below what you think. The army link will be in the description as always, and hopefully I will see you soon tomorrow. Take care and peace.